Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 sports podcast. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. The weather's so nice we're outside. With an all-star panel as always, Reggie Walker, Mountaineer Mike Freer, William Wilson. I'm Kevin Casey, your host. And before I get any further, William Wilson, another successful, sold-out, profitable Clother Classic this weekend. Star-studded, bowling, golf, everything. Congratulations, Will.
Dude, this is by far the best one we had. We had a bowling component to it. Of course, no one else here other than you showed up. Got home, all my boys got my back.
I did, and I'm telling you, I rolled pretty good.
2 days of events, and none of my boys showed up. But it's all good, though.
First ball I threw.
I can tell.
First ball, a strike. First ball I threw was a strike, and the last three I rolled in a row were all strikes. Me and Derek James from WCCB and your man John Luke in my group.
Yeah.
Colin Cole on the next former Carolina Panther, Colin Cole with us. And speaking of the Panthers, Reggie Walker, OTAs underway. Kevin Tolbert was there. Cam, according to Coach Rivera, will be fine by training camp, but still not throwing. A lot of news on the field and off the field. Word is, what's going on the latest in South Carolina with the training facility?
Yeah, so the tax incentive bill down in South Carolina, I can't think of the exact name of what the bill's called, was approved for over $100 million in taxes. I want to say it's near $120 million in tax breaks for the team and organization to move their team headquarters, build a practice facility as well. So that looks like that's going to come to fruition. I think the only step right now remaining to get the ball really rolling is Governor McMaster, the governor of South Carolina, to sign off on it, which who thinks he's not going to sign it.
Exactly.
So I think we're in a situation where we're getting ready to see team headquarters move south, and frankly, I think it's good for the organization. I think you get that kind of space down there to do the things that you need to do with the training facility and spread that thing out a little bit, to have some more breathing room and some of the other development down there. I think that's going to put them in line with a lot of the other teams in the NFL when you look at what they have away from their home stadiums, right? Minneapolis hosts the Vikings downtown, but they practice in Eden Prairie. They have a beautiful facility out there.
Redskins are in
many
Ashburn,
of the team,
Virginia.
Redskins and Ashburn. I knew you were going to bring them up.
Of course.
The Giants, Jets. You look at the Bills, what Tampa Bay has as well. All of these teams in the NFL do not practice at their stadium like the Panthers do. So I think this is a good move for the organization.
You think it's just a matter of time before you think they're going to stay in the city, or you think this is the first step towards going closer, like we all talked about, closer towards the border?
No, I think this is the first salvo in letting the city know
That's my thing
that
too.
we're not. Listen, I can go do it on my own. I don't want to leave, and here's the reality: by moving the practice facility away from here, away from Bank of America Stadium, I should say, I think it allows you to do some things. If you want to just do some renovations to the stadium, it allows you to do that because you're not there every day. You can have some long stretches of time where there's nothing going on in that building.
Will,
I agree. I think that's the first step towards putting the pressure on the city.
Absolutely.
And here's my first marker down. There's my first move.
And the second step, Tepper's not really controlling. And you mentioned it, Kevin, before we got on the air. The second step is there's a big venue over there off of 29. They got races coming this week, and they had them last week
too.
But, hey, listen, from the numbers I've seen, and you can look at different numbers, they're saying NASCAR is losing 10% of their audience a year. Well, at some point, that track is too big. But that location and the ability to get in and out of a large venue, parking,
prime.
all of the things around, it becomes prime. And so it puts the onus on the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County to pay attention. Because if not, don't think Cabarrus County won't cut a check. Because to create something like that they know 8 to
There's
10
a lot of
Saturdays
land
in the
near
fall,
that track too, by
that's
the way.
exactly right. And so you do the math.
But here's the thing, too. Most of that land near that track is still owned by the same person. SMI owns, like where Tom Johnson Campus Center.
Right.
That's owned by SMI also. They just lease it to Tom Johnson Campus Center. All that stuff out there, pretty much from the car dealerships back to the track, Bruton Smith owns it.
Well, technically,
So
Everyone's
well,
got
no, you're
price,
right.
though.
Well, technically, the Panthers
got a
don't
lot of
own
money.
Bank of America Stadium. They lease it for $1 a year. Mm-hmm. Technically. So at the end of the day, they can do the same type of sweetheart deal up there as it's done right here in the city of Charlotte.
Yeah, it can be done. I don't think Charlotte will let that happen because just the structure of business economics. You need to have your venues downtown. You need to have in your core downtown. You can let them practice wherever they want to.
I agree,
but
Will,
that.
Let me ask you this, William Wilson. You're a businessman, a business owner. Having a training facility with you're leased to for at least 15, maybe 30 years, that tethers the team here, so they're not going to be up and moving to, say, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, or whatever. So it's good to have you're locked in there.
But this ain't no lease, though.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Really?
This ain't no lease.
You can buy it. You can lease it. Let me explain something to you. Nothing tethers a team anyone to anywhere. The only thing tethers a team anywhere, someone else not willing to write a check to buy them out of it. If there's somebody that wants a team bad enough, they'll say, you know what? They say Panthers got this deal for another 15 years for X amount of millions of dollars. You get a sponsor to write that check by, okay, bye. There's always a buyout in there. There's always a way to get out of it. Nothing tethers anyone to anything.
I totally agree with that. The only thing that can tether them, I'll slightly disagree, I should say. The only thing that can tether them is the league not allowing a team to move.
Yeah,
which takes a vote. So there's a lot of factors in that. But to your point, if somebody's willing to write a check, it's a whole lot of people going to listen.
Oh, yeah, and they gone. No, people didn't think the Raiders would end up in Las Vegas. Where are they?
Check
going
written.
to Vegas.
Check written stadium being built.
Yeah, Los Angeles went from at one point not being able to support a team, and they had two teams again.
They sued their way into moving from Oakland to Los Angeles first.
At the end of the day, big bank take little bank every time.
Absolutely.
Money talks, BS runs a marathon every time.
All right, now, on the field, Kevin Tolbert there at OTAs. Mountaineer Mike, your boy Will Greer from West Virginia, throwing some balls. Cam not throwing, but Kyle Allen, Tyler Heineke, Will Greer, all looking good. A lot of people getting some hype. What's his name? Holyfield getting some publicity.
Elijah
Holyfield. That's a running back and a half right there.
He's a solid player. He's going to make that roster. I don't think there's any question about that.
I'll go on record. News to his dad that he didn't make the team.
I'll go on record as saying I was not a fan of seeing Will Greer come here to Charlotte just because of all the headaches it was going to cause. Not only for Will Greer, but for Cam Newton, because having Will Greer, a Charlotte kid, come in here, and now you're going to just have to deal with all the questions, Cam's got to answer. The minute he has a bad game or two bad games in a row, how soon now we got Will Greer. The pressure to bring him in is going to be immense, and I don't know Will Greer needs all that garbage.
Well, first of all, if that becomes a question
outside the stadium,
if that becomes a question outside of injury, we got a bigger problem in this city. And the infatuation with backup quarterbacks, people need to calm down. You can say what you want about
Cam's contract too. That factors in there.
Yeah, but he's got another year. I mean, here's the reality.
Buy it out. I think it's.
There's some ways,
against
but
the cap or something.
Here's my thing. Unless Will Greer is the second coming, he hasn't shown me anything.
Absolutely not.
To this point, to get ready to run Cam out of here.
I totally understand, but
there's going to be some idiots.
A bad September.
Yeah, there'll be some
idiots.
It's
Will Greer, a local kid. Let's get him in there.
The bigger problem with Will Greer is not Will Greer. It's Chad Greer. That's the bigger problem. That's his dad, former high school coach, Davidson Day High School. Let me give you guys a nugget. Okay? Will Greer just finished his 5th year of college, correct? Will Greer went to Davidson Day. When Will Greer was a freshman at Davidson Day, they had football. Just got it. Will Greer is now in the NFL. They no longer have football. Chad Greer don't have nothing to do. That's a problem. That's a problem.
I don't disagree.
I agree and disagree. That's only a problem when it comes down to the leadership and the management of the front office.
And they're going to shut that. They've already shut that down.
You shut any of that stuff. The quarterback controversy, all that stuff.
That's right.
None of that stuff. I'm not worried about what Cam and Will Greer, all this other stuff. And Will Greer has a great practice. So let's not act like Cam is a Joe Montana,
there you go.
Type quarterback. He's not. But
cautious critic of Cam Newton.
I'm not talking about in May. I'm talking about September and October.
It's not a cautious critic. I'm just saying what it is. No, Cam is an extremely athletic quarterback, and he's a good guy. He's a good marketing guy. But he's not a pure quarterback. He's just not. And we don't even know how healthy he is. So we're worried about his other stuff. Ron Rivera says he's healthy. Bill Belichick tells you a lot of stuff before a game. Bill Belichick will also tell you it's not my job to reform the media. It's my job to win games.
And North Korea will tell you a lot of things too.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we have somebody's saying, well, Cam's going to be good to go, but you haven't seen him throw. I don't know if he's good to go or not. We really don't know. There's a whole lot of unknown variables going into this. But at the end of the day, the bottom line, past all this other BS we're talking about, it comes down to winning games. And if you don't think Ron Rivera is going to be on a hot seat, yes, at some point in time, him being a player's coach and all that, Ron Rivera been here a long time. He's been here a long
by NFL
long as Cam.
Yes.
By NFL standards.
As long as Cam.
Right. But Cam's a player under contract, different juju there.
No, I agree. What I'm saying, and if I'm Ron Rivera, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down with Cam.
Right,
I'm not going to go down with some rookie that I'm going to develop.
If I'm Ron Rivera,
right.
I'm gonna go down with put up my best fight. If Will Greer somehow give me my best fight, I go down with my best players. I don't go down under loyalty. I go down trying to protect myself because I don't want to go down.
To Will's point, we're not at practice every day. Will Greer may look like the second coming. He may, but until I see it on the field consistently, I'm rolling with one because 3 ain't the answer yet.
No. I agree. I don't have a problem with that at all.
I'm with you.
And we think our executive producer Kevin Tolbert with a bad knee, injured, got some knee brace on. There's some scooters over there. Maybe he ought to grab a scooter and get back on some solid footing there instead of getting re-injured again.
Tell him, Natasha. Natasha out there dropping them knowledge on us. She said, "Who's worried about Will's dad? Where's it? Their dad. Dad ain't paying the bills. They got to figure out without Daddy. They got.
Well, I already explained that the fact that he's already been quieted.
His name ain't Manning.
He's already been quieted.
All right.
And David Tepper don't care. David Tepper may be my favorite owner in the league.
Over Jerry Jones, your own Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry Jones, one of my least favorite owners in the league, just by default. But just because of my team, I mean. Clint Sterner was a Cowboy. He was my least favorite football player to ever walk the planet.
You're never going to let that go.
But here's what I like about David Tepper. David Tepper said, I don't care what you do. It's my team. It's my party. I cry if I want to. He does what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. The only thing that can slow David Tepper down, like Reggie said earlier, is the league itself. So unless the league tells David Tepper you can't do X, Y, or Z, David Tepper's going to do it regardless of what anybody thinks about it. And that's what I like about this man. He makes him bringing in Eric Reed.
Yeah.
And saying, look, do what you do. Eric Reed's still kneeling. Doing what you do is that I'm here to win football games. And that's what this team has needed.
And then they re-signed him because he was productive. I agree.
You'd like for him to buy a bigger boat than Jerry Jones, wouldn't you?
I don't care if he swims across the water. I don't care if he has a boat or a Hyundai Excel. I don't care about all that stuff. I just care about the Panthers putting together a product that can do something.
I agree. It all comes down to, you're right, it all comes down to winning games, and a healthy Cam is going to put him in the best spot to win.
Cam will stay healthy at the offensive line and gets better plays
That's
this year.
the key.
And there's someone to take some pressure off McCaffrey, a bigger back, I think. And someone to catch some balls other than the three amigos, Moore, Samuel, and whoever the other guy is outside. They need another bigger target.
Well, here's the reality. I think.
By the way, Greg Olson cleared for all football activities.
Yeah, and Ian Thomas, I think, will be much better to help this football team. Listen, I think Elijah Holyfield has a chance to be the guy that we see get the lion's share of the more than third downs, the lion's share of the carries outside of Christian McCaffrey. I think he's got the talent. He's got the ability. He's got an NFL body already.
Like him
kid knows how to train.
And Cameron Artis-Payne?
Yes, I do. Okay. I absolutely do. Number one, he's younger. Number two, he came out of that Georgia system where he knows how to run the football between the tackles. He's got the speed to get outside. He's got the power to finish runs in the secondary and against smaller defenders. And he's got the strength to push off linebackers as well when he makes his way through the hole.
He's a great guy, another weapon to have at the goal line.
Yes.
To go along with
now,
Cam.
How many times did we see, and those, like you point out, Mike, how many times did we see the third, 4th and 1s, or the goal line, Cam would have to sneak it, or they'd throw a fade. Why not go to a big back and just pound these?
Well, see,
it's another weapon.
But here's the reality. You got to look at it from this standpoint as well. I'm not saying that's a bad suggestion. What I will tell you is, in a salary cap era, when you've got one at 6'5", 255 pounds, that's their big back. Like it or not, that's the philosophy behind it. The issue is, I think at a lot of times, it can't be always that predictable that is your big back. If you've got another guy on the football field, whether it's Elijah Hood with McCaffrey and one in the backfield, there's other guys to think about. And I think that becomes that's been the issue is it's predictable. If
it's going to
McCaffrey goes out in short yardage, it's number one. It's going to carry the football.
Exactly.
You cannot be that predictable, and I think they'll fix that.
Obviously, with what I do, I deal with a lot of guys in the league, and I do a lot of defensive guys. And the amount of conversation, I'm not going to say their names, but the amount of guys I talk to play defenses that say on a consistent basis, the Carolina Panthers are the most predictable defense we ever play. And they say it year in,
predictable
year
defense
out,
or offense?
You mean offense?
Yeah,
okay.
Offense that they ever play.
Even with Norvell Turner there?
Yeah. They're just not really afraid of their play calling. You know, they've got some weapons. They say we always know, if you know how someone's going to always use the same weapon, eventually you know how to guard against it and plan against it.
Well, right, and that's the key. Is listen, you can look at it 87 different ways, right? The fact that Christian McCaffrey catches a lot of passes, you can look at that as Cam Newton only looks for him. You can look at that as he's good at getting open. You can look at that as they do a great job scheming to get him the football. You can look at it so many different ways. But the reality is the best teams win games and go deep in the playoffs when you don't know who's going to get the ball on any given play on offense, and you don't know where the pressure's coming from on any given play on defense. That's the bottom line.
All right, we got some Carolina Panthers discussion in the books. The Hornets are getting ready for the draft. The NBA playoffs are going on. Steph Curry having a good playoff so far, the NHL playoffs. NASCAR's in town. The 600 is this weekend, my favorite race, by the way. So we got that, and well, there you go. That makes it a good deal then. Much more here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. This is Talking About Sports.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kemba Walker, but no Leezy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow. As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, Talking About Sports.
Best food around.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. Reggie Walker, Mountaineer Mike Freer, and the clother, William Wilson. And Mountaineer Mike, Charlotte Hornets working out some guys this week. They need a lot of help and, maybe a few miracles. They're up against the salary cap, even if they let Kemba Walker and Jeremy Lamb go. Who are they, you and Reggie, who are they working out, and what are their hopes other than tanking and hoping they get better luck in the lottery next year?
I mean, the reality is they're working out anybody and everybody that they can potentially get realistically for the cheap. They've got some cap issues, as we talked about. We can get into all of the different reasons why that's the situation later. But they've got to find guys that are diamonds in the rough. They've got to find guys that can help this franchise that aren't going to cost them a lot of money. They're working out. I know one of the guys they worked out was Jalik Felton, former North Carolina point guard at 6'3". He can do some things with the basketball. We know what the issues he's had. He's been playing overseas last season, so it'll be interesting to see what other guys they bring in and how they can find a way to fill out this roster and add some depth to a basketball team that, quite frankly, financially at the top is not a lot of guys that would be key components to championship caliber teams.
And, Mitch Kupchak, in my opinion, hit a home run last year with the trade for Bridges there. He drafted the kid from down the Clippers.
Now, Mike,
there.
didn't the other guy they drafted went to the Clippers? He made these all-rookie second team.
By the way, I like what Miles Bridges said the other day. I don't know if anybody saw that. He basically came out and said, I played like you-know-what the whole year, and that's not good enough. I don't deserve to be on any teams.
No, I agree. And I was so impressed with him down the stretch when he got put in the starting lineup, and not just the starting lineup, but when he would have a down game or he wouldn't have a dominating game, they kept him in the lineup. Like, he didn't matter. You had 4 points. You put him back in the starting lineup. I think it did a world of good for his confidence, and it's only going to get better for him the years going on. He didn't deserve to be first or second team, but at the end of the year, he was playing like one of the top rookies in the league.
But the guy that they also drafted and then traded to the Clippers did make the all-rookie second team. Now, did they just not pick the wrong guy to trade?
No, you got to remember the Clippers basically got rid of every high-level player they had in the middle of the season and went with a bunch of young guys. Sometimes it's about opportunity.
It did, and it worked for them. They made the playoffs.
Okay, they made the playoffs.
He did, and that kid had a good year. He had a good second half of the year. Bridges had a good second half of the year too. I don't think nobody missed out on anything with this. I don't think. I think Bridges is only going to get better. I said on this show, he's the one guy outside of Kemba that has the potential to make an all-star team down the road. He has to develop. He has to have the work ethic, but he has the talent, and I think he can he can be an all-star down the road with the same kind of work ethic that Kemba has.
So-called experts, Reggie, say that they got to let Kemba go. They're up against the cap, but William Wilson says, if you're Michael Jordan, you can write the luxury tax check, or do you go through the million scenarios? Well, we'll trade a one. And Nick Batum to get Andre Drummond and then just take our chances.
Here's the thing. All that sounds well and good. I think the problem is this, and it goes back to what Freer just said. We do this every year, right? The draft comes around and we go, if we get, people, whoever your team is, right? If we get this guy when he develops, and then halfway through the year you go, well, he's not good enough. Well, hell, you the same person that said before the draft, if he develops. Stop trying to wait on developmental players and go find somebody that can help your basketball team right away. And I think William and I have been screaming that for years.
Exactly. And I think Mitch did that last year. I think he got a good pick last year. They're picking in the same spot again this year. There's value there. There's Donovan Mitchell. If the franchise had listened to Steve Clifford, they'd have Donovan Mitchell, who they got at 13, instead of, your guy, Malik Monk. And
that's my point. And that's my point. And the justification for many people, he did. And the justification for many people was, well, Malik Monk has a higher ceiling because he's younger than Donovan Mitchell. I don't care about no ceiling. What can you do for me right now?
Get squirrel hunt.
Look, when you're laying on your back, the ceiling doesn't matter.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, the ceiling only matters when you're standing on your feet and you're trying to jump. Right now, the Panthers, the Hornets are laying on their backs, so they got to get on their feet before they worry about touching the ceiling.
As they say in wrestling, the Hornets are counting the lights.
So here. Okay.
On their backs, counting the lights.
Okay, so here's what it all comes down to.
That wasn't English.
It was Kevinese. Let's let it. You gotta let it go sometimes.
Shout out to the Bentley in front of us.
No, but here's what it really comes down to. If I'm a GM for the Hornets, or for most teams for that matter, I don't draft a guy with under 3 years college experience. I don't even look at him in the first round, because I know I have a better chance of knowing what I have as a developed player. I know how he plays as a team. I know a guy who came in committed to work on a team. I don't get this guy that comes in. Zion Williamson.
So you wouldn't take Zion Williamson?
No.
All right.
No, because Zion Williams, he may be great. It's risk-reward. At the end of the day, it's risk-reward.
Draymond is a 4-year player.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing.
I take a 3-4 year guy that I know that
can play. To your point, look at the guys, the young guys that developed for the Hornets last year that they put on the floor. Dwayne Bacon, Devontae Graham. These guys that got
Kemba Walker, all 3+ year players,
college players. Now, Bacon had to go to G League, and it's his second year in the league, but he had the experience of being at Florida State. Devontae Graham was a
quality player at Kansas.
Yeah.
He's a 4-year player.
And these are guys that got on the floor at the end of the year and were contributor and big part of their run at the end.
Because they know how to play basketball, and we know what their skill set is.
They did not. These young guys did not produce
because they didn't get minutes because they were waiting on Miles Bridges and Malik Monk.
Young guys don't develop because here's the stupidity of these dumbass people who keep drafting these guys. They come here for a year. They barely got mama's titty milk out of their breath, and next thing you know, they're in the league. They did. They show up at Duke or Carolina or Kentucky or Kansas or wherever for 7 months of basketball, and then they're gone.
And they're allowed to do whatever they want in those 7 months. It took longer for them to develop in the womb than it took them to develop in college. And then they come up and think they're going to just put an NBA roster on their backs and play with them. The LeBron Jameses, the Kevin Garnetts, the Kobe Bryants, they call them once in a lifetime for a reason. You can't have 17 kids the same age all be once in a lifetime. It's just
stupid.
Oh, by the way, I'm glad you had that slight slip of the tongue. Dwayne Wade,
3-year guy.
3-year college player.
Exactly.
He was a partial qualifier going to Marquette, so he had to sit out his first year. A lot of people don't know that.
But he still practiced and was with the team in the team
Correct.
structure.
Exactly. So you get a guy that comes in who's not a blue chip guy that walks into a campus going, hey, enjoy me while you can because next year I won't be here. There's a different mindset. There's a different mentality. There's a different way they go about business. Everything they're doing is about the next level. You get a guy who comes in, a Dwayne Wade type guy, who's been told his whole life he can make it to the league, but doesn't walk into Marquette thinking I'm a first-round guy, or a Draymond Green. These guys, they had to work. They had to develop a work ethic. They had to learn to work within a team dynamic. They had to develop as a player, and when they get to the league, their curve is lower because you're not waiting for them to become a freshman. You're not waiting for them to deal with their sophomore and junior year in college as an NBA professional, as a first-round draft pick, with all the pressure in the world on them, along with a whole new world where you got a different level of ladies, a different level of money, a different level of popularity, and a different level of fame to deal with that you didn't have to deal with before. So it's a different mindset. The Shane Battiers of the world, the Christian Laettners of the world.
You could go up and down the list. You could just in the playoffs now, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard. These are all guys at smaller schools, but they were there in college for years.
Listen, I was there. Let me tell y'all something. Dame Lillard, let me tell you guys a story. I was at the NBA Draft Combine the year he was coming out. People were like, oh, yeah, there's this guard from Weber State. He's all right. In 5-on-5, he came down the floor, dunked on 4 people. I saw it. Everybody at the table got up out of their seat. All of a sudden, this kid is a top 10 pick. It wasn't because he didn't have the skills. It was because he went to Weber State, they didn't think he was good enough. Then he did something that made everybody go look at the tape the right way, and they go, oh, wait a minute. This kid can go. C.J. McCollum came out of Lehigh. Okay? That kid knows how to play basketball. Let me tell you another thing about him. His brother, Eric McCollum, one of the best international basketball players we know. Oh, by the way, a 3-time champion in the basketball tournament. He comes over here every year with DJ Kennedy and all these guys that have been playing overseas. DJ Kennedy, 4-year college player at St. John's. They come over here, they know how to play, and they win that tournament every year. Those certain guys come from families and come from an understanding of the game that makes them great because they process information.
Or you look at Scottie Pippen when he went to the University of Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas.
No one wanted to talk to him. No one. He went from 6'1" to 6'7" while he was in college. No one. The Seattle Supersonics were the only team to even go look at him on their pro day, and they drafted him for the sole purpose of trading him to Chicago for Odin Polynice. Now he's one of the top 50. Brad Sellers was just a throw-in.
One of the 50 greatest players.
50 greatest players, Hall of Famer, 6 rings. Almost won at 7 without MJ if it weren't for that bad foul.
But
he should have won another one. He should have won another one with Portland, but they had the wrong big man on the playoff roster.
Yep.
To William's point and what we were all talking about, it comes down to this. The most important person in the Charlotte Hornets organization this summer isn't Michael Jordan. It isn't James Borrego. It's not even Kemba Walker. It's Mitch Kupchak.
Yep.
Mitch Kupchak has to evaluate, get a good draft pick again, I think, and he has to figure out what to do with the roster or whatever. But he is the most important person because he's going to be making these decisions, making these evaluations, and trying to get them either going in the tank or whatever they want, which I think is just a ridiculous way to go about
Mitch
things.
Can,
but whatever.
Call the Lakers in their current state of disarray and fleece them out of some.
Let me ask you this. Who's the best young player the Lakers have right now?
I like Brandon
Kuzma,
Ingram.
Kuzma. How long was he in college? I'm done.
All right.
Well, I think he's a little overrated too.
I didn't say he wasn't. I didn't say
he regrets his second year.
I don't question that.
Now,
who's the best young player they got consistently?
Well, because he's
Kuzma.
on the court, it's him. Yeah, because.
All right, now one of our listeners,
Brandon Ingram, need to find a weight room.
One of our listeners, Natasha Crawford, says no one looks at potential, just what they can give us now. No, the problem is all they look at is potential.
That's right.
What he can be, what he can turn into,
when he
what
develops.
he can develop into.
Nobody drafted Malik Monk for what he can do, right away.
Exactly.
And he hasn't been able to get on the court, which I think is James Borrego's biggest criticism that I have.
You these guys say, okay, if they develop, How in the world are they supposed to develop with no playing time?
Well,
how in the world they develop?
Let me. But hold on a second. Now, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not trying to create an argument, but I'm going to ask this question. If Clifford didn't feel like he was good enough to play consistent minutes, and Borrego feels the same way, maybe he's just not good enough to play consistent minutes.
And he may not. I'm not saying. I'm talking about overall in general. I'm not just talking about Malik Monk. I'm talking about players in general.
That's okay.
Okay. My rookie year on pit road. Now, of course, I'm a top tier level jack man, but I still had things to learn.
Agreed.
We went to practice. But there's some things you can only learn
in competition.
When the stands are full, when it matters. Yeah. That's when you learn what you can break, what you can take, what you can do, and what you can make. That's where you learn it. Now, my crew chief had to say, you know what? I may be willing to take. Now, I can only mess up so much.
That's right.
Because we're dealing with live fire.
There's a level of rookie mistake you can make.
Exactly. But they had let me come through and develop, and what mistakes I made on the track on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, depending on what level I was jacking that weekend, we went and worked on. They said, okay, William, you need to work on this, work on this, work on this. I had to work on stuff on my own, and then I had to work on stuff when we went out to practice. And practice showed me what we did on our own. Right. Every week. Now, we had a problem. We can get fired mid-race.
Yeah, but you had to get to a certain level to even be on out there for the race.
Right, but so did these guys.
Yeah,
these guys had to get to a certain level to get drafted.
Yeah. Correct. But once you get drafted in the first round and you get guaranteed money, guess what? You always going to be there. That don't mean I got to put you on the floor.
Right.
And I will say this. His rookie year, I think Clifford wanted Donovan Mitchell so bad. I don't think he played Monk half the time because he was annoyed he didn't get Donovan Mitchell like he wanted, and they got Monk. James Borrego, I think, went with veterans to try and He's
trying to win.
He's trying to win, trying to get him to the playoffs. He saw the potential for playoffs, and when it went bad, he put a Monk in and gave him consistent minutes. Now, he wasn't that great in those minutes, I don't think. But to that point, if your minutes go up and down, what do you know? How do you know how good you can be?
Well, I don't know. Ask what's his name, Antonio McKinney?
Yeah, Alfonso McKinney.
Alfonso McKinney. Check that from the Golden State Warriors. He didn't even see the floor.
No,
in the previous series.
Or Norman Powell of the Raptors.
I mean, hey, listen, at the end of the day, if you can ball, you ball when you get on the floor.
There you go.
What they say, ball till you fall?
I think the Hornets are in a bad spot where they needed Malik Monk to play more minutes to see what he can do, but at the same time,
they were in a
position where they were trying to win and make the playoffs.
Exactly. Natasha, I know you keep saying the NBA. This is a problem. The NBA is drafting on potential. They're not drafting on guys that can play. Right. The guys who we already know can play are the third and fourth round guys. The third and 3 and 4 year guys. The guys that draft on potential are the guys that show up for 7 months, half a season, and then play.
Right.
Those are the guys. The NBA is drafting every year off of potential. They're hoping to strike, pay dirt. They're hoping to hit the lottery. They're hoping they get the next LeBron James.
We're going to call timeout here. We got to find out. What's your name?
Crystal.
Hey, Crystal, what do we have today?
We have the Steakhouse Pub Nachos, the pretzel with beer cheese dip, and spicy, sweet, and Cajun garlic chicken wings.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Any specials going on with everything going on around town? The race this weekend?
We have $5 blueberry lemonades.
I'll take some of that. I'll take one right now, as a matter of fact. I'm off tomorrow. In fact, I'm off till next Wednesday. That's great stuff. What were we talking about? For all this great food showed up. Well, thank you
the
very
Hornets.
much. We're
talking about
potential.
Well,
Hornets. No potential.
This food has great potential.
This food has great potential, and it
doesn't have potential. It's guaranteed to be eaten,
and it's not going to stay on the lead lap very long. But no
one comes straight from high school anymore, Natasha. They had to spend a year. No one's coming straight from high school anymore. They stopped that 2 or 3 years ago. You can't come right out of high school to the NBA anymore.
I think they're going to revisit that.
They are, and then this gets even worse.
Well, the next collective bargaining agreement, I think that's going to be coming back.
I think it is. And you know what?
The ages will get lowered, and I think this whole thing's going to get even worse.
No, you know what? I don't think it will, because I think it'll get to the point to where they'll realize, it's particularly GMs, and then it'll trickle into these players. If you ain't guaranteed in the top 3, they're not coming to your high school to look at you. I think GMs, there's too much pressure now. People are getting fired way too quick now. I think they've learned their lesson. If you're a legitimate high school, like Zion, yeah. But like remember, some people coming into this year was saying Duke had 4 one-and-dones, including Trey Jones. Ain't nobody in the NBA was gonna be looking at Trey Jones coming out of high school.
No.
And so I think you're gonna find that list is gonna get shorter, from a one-and-done standpoint versus a no college standpoint. I think that list is going to get a little bit shorter because I think these GMs are getting a little bit. I ain't gonna say a lot.
I'll believe it when I see it, but I see what you're saying. I'll believe it when I see it.
You guys keeping up with the playoffs? Steph Curry's been playing pretty good basketball. Even beat his brother 4-0 in the sweep. I think he's scoring like 30 points a game.
Yeah, I just think that basketball team. Here's the reality, man.
With no Kevin Durant.
Yeah, well, that's my point.
They didn't need Kevin Durant.
No,
I think
Boogie Cousins.
First of all, this talk that Kevin Durant doesn't make them better is asinine. Here's what happens oftentimes in any sport, right? You find yourself on the floor with somebody, Kevin, from wrestling. Will, you've been out there and on pitch, and Freer, you've been around sports a long time. When you're around somebody that's really good, even when they're on your team, you find yourself watching them a little bit. Listen, when Durant gets the basketball on the wing, a guy like Steph Curry, as good as he is, he goes, man, Durant is special, man. I want to see what he's about to do now.
But doesn't that say something?
Happens.
Now, Reggie, doesn't it say something about Steph Curry's game that he is legit? 2-time MVP, top 5 NBA, all-NBA player, that as good as he is, he knows how good Kevin Durant is.
Yes.
And he'll step back and give him his space and let him get his, and it blends in. And now when he's not there, he steps up and delivers.
Draymond's more of a playmaker because he's got the basketball in his hands more.
I think that's where the biggest...
And I think that's one of the big keys. And listen,
now, some people
Clay's more in rhythm because his shots are more consistent.
Some people knock Draymond Green for not being a team guy and all
Draymond
this.
is...
But did you see that last series?
He's nothing but a team
That's
guy.
all he's
That's
about.
my whole point. He just obliterated the criticism because of what a great team guy, picking up the young guys, the end of the rotation guys, and he helped them win and beat a very good Portland team.
The guy makes $18 million a year to rebound, assist, and be the captain on the defensive end of the floor. I don't know what more team is.
I'll tell you what,
He's Dennis Rodman.
He was the second best player. He was the second best player in this series, and he didn't even shoot 30% from 3. He struggled that much with his shot, but everything else that he did made him the second best player behind Steph in that series. Here's something else about that series. Unbelievable when you consider the Warriors trailed for more minutes than they led, and they swept that series.
All that matters is when you lead, not how much.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's an incredible
I
thing.
put all that on Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
And I tell you why I put all that Steve Kerr. People talk trash about Phil Jackson. Oh, he's got all these great players. It's so much easier to coach 5 trash players than it is to coach 5 superstars. Because you're dealing with egos.
Yeah, for one thing, they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Steve Kerr learned from Phil Jackson how to deal with egos. How to let these
and Greg Popovich, too.
Can I finish my conversation?
I'm just letting you know.
He didn't need Greg Popovich for it. He learned it from Phil Jackson, all those championships he won with Phil Jackson. If Greg Popovich had never played in the NBA, Steve Kerr would still know what he knows now. So what it comes down to, because he was on the field with Steve, he was on the court with Phil Jackson and all these great players. He learned how Phil dealt with Michael Jordan.
Scotty.
Greg Popovich never dealt with the egos that Phil Jackson's dealt with. You got Scotty, you got Dennis, you got Michael.
Yeah.
3 megala egos.
Oh, yeah.
That you got to figure out how to work all together with, and a bunch of role players.
Kukoc.
Yeah, Kukoc.
Kukoc had one.
Ron Harper.
Ron Harper came from the Clippers where he was a bona fide scoring machine.
Exactly. So you get these guys, so you learn how to deal with those egos, figure out when to get involved, when not to, when to let them coach themselves, and when to coach. He understands how to make that operate. That Steve Kerr is the glue that holds all this together. Now I almost said the Spurs. Come think about you.
He did win a few titles with the Spurs as a player and as an assistant coach because the Spurs don't have egos. The only guy that had an ego is gone now.
Okay,
they've won 5 titles without egos.
Then answer this damn question for me. Then answer this question
David
for me.
Robinson.
If they didn't have egos, then how do you learn to deal with guys with egos?
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you.
That's what I'm saying. You just want to find a way to put the Spurs in this. The Spurs have no relevance in this conversation.
I'm complimenting your point.
This isn't complimenting my point. It's antithesis. It's the antithesis of my point. Because I'm talking about dealing with egos. The Spurs, to Greg Popovich's credit, didn't have all those egos. So Greg Popovich, what he said just went. Because Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Tony Parker, all
Avery
those guys,
Johnson.
Avery Johnson, those guys played team first. to
Sean
start
Elliott.
with. Those guys thought team first to start with, so they didn't have to learn to deal with the egos. Phil Jackson had a bunch of guys that anywhere they went were the stuff.
Yeah.
So to learn how to deal with those egos takes a whole different skill set. Greg Popovich is an amazing coach. It's sad to see what he's going through now. It's so sad to see such a great coach, a great basketball mind, to be going through what Greg Popovich is going through
Well, that's
now.
what happens when you throw your best player, Kawhi Leonard, under the bus.
Traitor.
You get what you deserve.
He did. He's a
for
traitor.
that.
You know, he
That's
jaked
my
it.
little
He
dig
faked
there.
injury last
I
year.
mean,
You know what I'm thinking about?
it is what
I'm
it is.
thinking about the Utah. I'm thinking Jerry Sloan. I'm thinking also Jerry Sloan going through medically.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
Sloan
and,
was going
and,
through
and
some
unfortunately,
That's what I was thinking.
and
That's what I was-
unfortunately for Jerry Sloan, him and his two greatest
that was
players
fine.
were
I'm
just
sorry.
born at the wrong time.
That's true.
Yep,
They were just born at the wrong time.
totally agree.
Because even when Mike left, Dream was in the building. They were
yeah.
just born at the wrong time.
Yep.
And that's just the reality of. And you know what? That's the consequence of sport at times.
I'm sorry.
You could
I
just
thought
be
were
in the
talking
wrong
about
era.
Popovich struggling when you said I felt bad. I didn't realize.
No, I thought
I'm sorry.
Jay
I'm sorry. I was
Sloan
just
was
commenting about Popovich struggling, and that's why I said you get what you deserve. I didn't mean.
no,
I
give you-
apologize.
no,
I didn't
no.
mean that at
No,
all.
I said the wrong guy. I was
Yeah,
thinking
but I-
Jerry Sloan, and I said Greg Popovich.
Yeah, when you said Pop is, you felt bad. I thought you were talking about him struggling on the court. I didn't mean anything like that. I wasn't happy.
no, I know what you meant.
Yeah, all right.
I totally know what you meant.
I felt bad too. Now you mentioned that, but
That's a great time for a break, huh?
Yeah.
Any more breaks or what?
give me
Anyway.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
that's
to get my
what
phone
I
out.
felt. I felt like Kevin Casey over there was ready to go to a break. He was a little frustrated.
I'm wondering.
I mean, looking at the glasses started fogging up.
Looking at
the
the
steam
director,
coming out the
looking
ears.
at
Boy, I
what's,
can see the hot sauce coming off your head.
He's looking at the scooters right now.
Yeah.
I need about 30
trying
seconds
to
to
get
get my
on the
foot
lead.
up.
Welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill with William Wilson, Mountaineer Mike Freer, Reggie Walker, and guys, very exciting NASCAR All-Star race. William Wilson, you were there. You gave the winner
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson, a nice jacket. I saw the ceremony. But your guy, another William Wilson clothing client, your guy Clint Boyer, somewhat agitated with the on-race driving of Ryan Newman because, you know this. Ryan Newman doesn't care if you're 1 lap or 10 laps down. He's not letting you around him. He's the hardest guy to pass.
Right.
And apparently there were some they weren't giving each other any quarter on the track afterwards. Clint Boyer sprints over before the net's down, starts going left, right on Ryan Newman with his helmet on before Newman could even get out of the car.
Why you
the
gonna
net
punch
was-
a man with a helmet on?
The net was down. The net was down, for one. Otherwise, he couldn't have punched him. And two, Ryan Newman,
He looked like he took some shots.
yeah, he took some blows to the head.
Oh, yeah.
And he should have, because you don't spin somebody on pit road.
On the cool-down lap,
I mean,
too.
on the cool down lap. You don't spin people into the track. There are hundreds of people that put in hard work on that race car. They put hours into this, and you want to get a tissy fit because 2 guys raced hard. You guys want to argue it on pit road, that's fine. You start tearing up equipment, you start tearing up cars, and these kind of things, you mess up the hard work that other people that have nothing to do with the BS you got guys on track.
Guys in the
Yeah,
shop.
I got no problem with Clint walking up, and I like the fact he didn't do this nonsense all these guys do, walk up, run full speed just to stop and point at each other. He ran full speed and started throwing them bowls. Reggie, you know how it is.
2 piece with a biscuit is what I
You know
saw.
how
He
it
was
is
throwing,
street.
he was
Don't
throwing
run.
I
punches
saw
like
a
that
2 piece
Rock'em
with a
Sock'em
biscuit
game.
and a side of red beans and rice.
Exactly. He didn't sit there and run up full speed, and then run up and go, oh, wait a minute, let me rethink about it. He didn't make a business decision. He made an emotional decision, and he made a commitment to the cause.
You remember that Rock'em Sock'em game where you hit that?
Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em robots.
That's how he was throwing. He was throwing just like that.
Hey, that looked like Anthony Joshua and Dominique Brazil the other night.
Now, how about that?
That's what I saw.
I wanted to mention that, but at the end of this segment, we're not going to get away without talking my man Deontay Wilder here. But Will, I got to think this on track. I like the package. The racing was very competitive, and as they pointed out, the restarts were key. Once you got out front, you got in the clean air. These guys were gone. I mean, and every time they had a restart, Kyle Busch was strong. All these guys were strong most of the way. You got that push down the straightaways, and then you were hard to catch.
That's true, but when you did finally catch them, you had a chance to pass them. They were able to draft. They were able to do some things, and I appreciate that. The racing is getting better, and in Charlotte, that can be a struggle because that dog ear coming out of fourth can fill them with a parade lap really quick. But there was a lot of side-by-side racing. A couple times people trying to go 3 wide.
4 wide. Do you see that one set?
I saw that
4
once.
wide, and that didn't work out for a couple guys because they got tire rubs.
Yeah, that works out. That never works out for you. 4 wide, physics is physics.
That's right.
No matter how hard you try, no matter how committed you are, you can't put 12 inches in an 11-inch box.
I'm going to tell you this. There's only one place.
And if you ain't going to get past somebody, that space going to get real tight real fast.
There's well, as you know, and as Mountaineer Mike found out, there's only one place where 4 wide works, and that's the Z-Max Dragway. Mike, how'd you like going to the drag races? Your first time?
I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Keita in the house.
I felt bad because rain wiped out some of the qualifying, so I didn't get to see as much as I would have liked. But yeah, it was fun. I didn't have a problem with it. I
wrote a great column for the Concord Kannapolis Independent Tribune.
I was there last weekend. I was there for the All-Star last weekend. I had a great time with that. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Oddly enough, at one point, Mike and I were in the exact same place.
I had no idea.
And didn't know it. We were in between the empty spot between the 43
47
car and the 48 car.
Yeah.
And I seen right there because I got video of us taking pit stops and stuff like this. We're in the same spot and had no idea he was there.
That'll be a situation that'll be rectified this weekend.
Will you bring this?
Chiquita, your chicken wings are right there. Come get some, baby girl.
Yeah, please come get some. And by the way, great seeing her at your golf tournament at the after party.
Chiquita's a great supporter. She comes every year. She comes to the party
Runs
every year.
Affirmed apparel that you're now wearing. I've noticed.
Well, I don't have one on right now.
Not today, but I have seen you on
yesterday. Her Affirm apparel. Yep, it was.
I'm always supporting.
I think I need a little bigger size. It's cut a little smaller. I think I need an extra large. Have
you been off the keto? Is that what it is?
No, it's just some T-shirts are cut smaller. That's all.
All right,
but it was great. I enjoyed it.
Get back in ship shape.
No, I'm gonna get NASCAR shape.
Okay, all right. Now speaking of on the pits, how did you like it? Because the choreography. Did you like how the pit stops are working now? Granted, this is an all-star race. Things are a little bit different from an actual cup race. What'd you see down in the pits, and how does that 48 team look without Chad Knaus? Because I don't think they're doing very well compared to years past.
Yeah, but they weren't doing well last year either. Was why they had to make the change. I think it was time to make the change because sometimes you get too familiar with each other.
Yep.
And you need a new voice. It's going to take some time for them to really fully get it together. I think they'll be okay.
I think William Byron is benefiting by Chad Knaus having him on the box.
Right, because William Byron is a rookie. Oh, no, he's not a rookie, but he's practically a rookie. He's still a young guy, and Chad walks in with 7 rings. You have to listen to him.
Pretty much.
But I think it's gonna work out well. As far as the pit stops, I enjoyed it. I was looking at one earlier, and I'm watching. Somehow with this, now the rear tire carrier dropped the car on the left side, while the jackman was doing a wedge adjustment. So that's a lot.
Different.
That's a lot of different moves to make. I think there's a little too many moves there. I mean, if you get it choreographed, it works out fine because now, while he's still doing this, you get the jack drop, you can maintain your pace of their pit stop. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with that. But I'm amazed at how fast they've gotten these pit stops down to 12.
That's 13, unbelievable. All the things seconds. They have to do with less guys.
Yeah, they were at 17 seconds last year at the beginning of last year. But it dropped 4 seconds off, and most people go, "What's 4 seconds?" Let me tell
eternity.
You. At Talladega, a 1/10 of a second is the difference between first place and 4th place.
Right.
A 1/10 of a second is 3 positions at a race like Talladega or Daytona. At a place like Charlotte, you're probably looking at least two positions.
You know who I think's coming on, and I think he's going to win a race this year, maybe more. Alex Bowman, that 88 team, is really coming on.
They're starting to gel. With Chad is putting his fingerprint on that team. You got to change that culture. You got to change. Bowman's got a lot of things to learn.
Mm-hmm.
People think these guys, just because you make it up from this level, that you're ready. And there was a time when you made it to the cup level, you were ready to go. But now these guys jump.
They get there so fast.
I think he benefited from filling.
You know why? You know why they get there so
year.
fast? Because potential.
Yeah.
There's that word again.
But it is potential. But the differentiator, like Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott knew before he got into the Dale Jr.'s ride, he already knew he was taking over Jeff Gordon's ride.
Yeah. No, I get what I just wanted to bring up that point.
There is some potential to it, but it also comes down to money. You go to Hendricks. They've got all the resources they need. There's 4 teams you really got to look at: Penske, Hendricks, JGR,
Stewart Haas.
The Stewart Haas. They're the daddies. Roush should do a little bit every once in a while. RCR do something.
Look, if you're Joe Gibbs, you don't want to. They didn't work going to the route of the William Byrons, the Alex Bowman. When Joe Gibbs needed a guy, he just said, "I'm going to get the champ. I'll get Martin Truex."
Well,
he's been pretty good.
Well, but they already had a partnership with them already. They already had a partner with them through Furniture Road Racing. He just basically just took that man's team from him. That's all that was. They just took Furniture Road Racing from Marty Vischer.
A lot of people say that was an underhanded deal. A lot of people are saying that, not me. I'm just saying, not like Coach Gibbs to be underhanded.
There's a joke on pit road that Joe Gibbs will invite you to he will shake your hand Saturday, steal your sponsor Saturday night, race against you Sunday afternoon, and then invite you to Bible study to shop on Wednesday. Joe Gibbs is a Christian man, but he's a businessman too. And sometimes it's just the business.
He did give the invocation.
Last week, let me tell you something. Last week, the most enjoyable thing for me when I was there was the way that setup is. Kyle Larson, the winner, he started the day. He was watching T-ball Saturday with his son, with the son of the crew chief. The two of them watching T-ball. And he had no idea if he was even going to be able to compete in the All-Star.
And that's what I like about it, Will. He had to race his way to get in, and that's not the first time you've had to. You show up and say, "Well, the only way I'm getting in is it's checkers."
He's the first one to win that All-Star thing and win the thing. There's others that qualified from the All-Star. He's the first one to win the All-Star or the Open and come around and win the All-Star thing and come away with $1 million. You may go into T-ball in the morning with your son, and then you come away in the evening with $1 million.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's not as unbelievable given the fact that Kyle Larson has run so well all year.
He's in a good car. He's in a good car.
But Bubba, the thing is, Bubba Wallace finished at 5th.
Well, that was a great finish he had.
He finished 5th.
He won a segment though,
and they don't have nearly the resources and the money that they have at Chip Ganassi Racing. So, to me, an even greater feat from a quality of equipment to finish was Bubba Wallace finishing 5th. Because he had to race his way in,
especially after the first race they had, he got edged out right at the end, and he came back and then won the second one.
Exactly.
But you're right. With the window so tight with racers like that, he had his shot in the first race. You thought maybe he didn't get it. Now there was my chance. I didn't get it, and he came back and got in anyway. Mm-hmm. So absolutely great effort by him.
Those are the kind of things to me. That's the kind of stuff that NASCAR needs. Kevin. You can race 1,000 miles and Kevin is sitting and watch all 1,000
every
miles
one of
laps.
them. I love it.
Me, I'm more of a normal person, and I think you need.
When was the last time you heard that sentence?
I'm never the normal guy. But those shorter, exciting feature races, that's exciting for people. They look for short bursts of entertainment now.
Well,
you need passing. You need, and I go 2 ways with wrecks. Now, before I got on pit road, I love to see a good wreck. Now, once I got on pit road and know what it feels like to be loading up your car while the team is racing, I have a different feeling for that. But when you get these tracks where, especially these packages where guys can't pass, they can't catch up with you, and you just got this guy takes off, but he's 3, 4, 5 seconds ahead, these announcers try their best. You can't make a guy 4 seconds ahead of you a suspenseful finish. You just can't make that suspense.
It's not going to happen.
Now, you talk about the 600. This is the longest race of the season, 600 miles or 400 laps. I like it. It's one of my favorite ones because it's more racing. How are you going to look at this weekend with what you've seen, what you've been in the garage this week, the last couple of weeks, a lot of your friends and contacts? the 600 isn't a war of attrition. It's a race of attrition. So who's going to have the long-term equipment? I mean, is it going to be between the big four teams, or could anyone surprise and just be in the lead pack and just get ahead on that last turn?
Can someone surprise? Yes. Will they surprise? Odds are absolutely not. It's going to be the big four, as it always is, because Charlotte's really not a race of attrition. Daytona and Talladega are a race of attrition. Charlotte's just a race of length. Charlotte has a lot of long green flag races. There's a reason that 600 miles in Charlotte lasts the same amount of time as 400 miles at Daytona, because they just go green for a long, long time. So you end up with a long parade of cars. So I don't think it's not a war of attrition, it's just who's got best equipment. Now, if Goodyear changes a tire on them or something like this, where it has more tire wear, where they've got to make more pit stops, those kind of things, that could affect the race. I happen to like when Goodyear runs with a softer tire. They have really good grip. They have a lot more speed. But when the tires fall off, they fall off quick. So you may lose 2 or 3 miles an hour after 10, 15 laps. So every time there's a caution, you got to do a pit stop. You don't play this fuel mileage BS. You don't play this, I'm going to stay out and try to do whatever. Because
take two and get ahead.
You don't play it because you need tires. You need four Goodyears so you can move up through the field. I like when Goodyear does that. The risk is, if the compound's too soft, they blow tires left and right, and you're tearing up race cars, because they always blow right fronts because they're putting so much pressure on that right front tire.
Ask Eric Jones.
Exactly, and they're gonna able to lock cars in the wall. But again, and that just makes the race long, exceptionally long. But I think the 600 will be, if I had to guess, the winner's going to come out of probably JGR, or it's going to come out of Stuart Haas.
You're going out on them. Reg, you got any favorites you like? Who you like this weekend?
I don't know, man. It's 600.
We're giving you first chance. We're giving you the first
600 is always interesting. But I'm
don't take what's his name, Malik Monk.
Here you go. But I agree with Will. I think Stuart Haas is a team to watch. That somebody out of that group is going to make a lot of noise in the 600 this weekend.
By the way.
And they just seem to do well in Charlotte. And like you said, Will, when you got long stretches of green flag racing, they got a shot.
Yeah.
They got a major shot.
Mm-hmm. Give me one of those Stuart Haas guys. Who you like?
I don't know, man. Depends on who. It depends. Because if you get caught in some stuff early.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It just. I don't know. But I think watch that group.
Don't hang around Eric Jones. You get wrecked. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'll take Kyle Busch.
Hey, you're going out on a limb.
Well, I don't need to.
But yeah, like I said, Charlotte's not a track that you really go on a limb on. The Roval, you can go out on a limb.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. By the way,
the 600 you really don't go out on a limb that much for, because it's just a matter of who got the best equipment. And to go 600 miles is really, really hard on equipment. There's a lot of wear and tear on parts. Jack pins, there's different parts of things that's wrecked. But I think it'll be Kevin Harvick. He's been fast. He's been fast all week. He was really fast last week. He just ran out of time.
And by the way, before we run out of time, because Kevin Tolbert gives me 1 minute here, who came up with the great idea of having field turf in the infield? Because that was the greatest thing.
They talked about that in the Champagne Toast. Marcus Smith decided that when they came through with the Roval, they decided to do that, to put the turf down.
That's a great idea.
It's extremely expensive, though, because you don't have the turf, but you also got to have a drainage system, because if you don't, that water would just sit under there.
Right.
So they had to have a drainage system, too. So a lot of tracks are going to want that. But, I mean, that change. Ryan Newman was only still in that race because of that field turf. If that had regular grass.
Well, Clint Boyer didn't like that all of a sudden.
Yeah, he'd have ripped the splitter off that car in no time.
All right, so I think we're out of time. Is that true, Kevin Tolbert? Out of time. All right, for Kevin Tolbert, Reggie Walker, Mountaineer Mike Freer, the clother William Wilson, I'm Kevin Casey. This has been Talking About Sports. So long for now.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
Welcome to Talking About Sports, the Carolina's #1 podcast for sports.
Somebody said trade Kimball Walker for No Leasy.
And No Limit Larry. I like No Limit Larry. I think No Limit Larry ought to get some playing time.
Wow.
As Kemba goes, so go the Hornets. And that's how it was last night.
I've never wished Kevin would have won a bet more than I do right now.
Now, let's come on down to the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill, talking about sports.
Best food around.